What's going on, guys, and welcome to Plus Club for January 2018, the show where we play the games offered to us on PlayStation Plus, play them throughout the month, and talk about our impressions of them. Hopefully you guys had a chance to play those games as well. They were Deus Ex Mankind Divided and Telltale's Batman. And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Chris.
And quick reminder, we're going into a new month now. We are in a new month now, so make sure to play Knack and Rhyme. That's going to be real easy for me to fucking remember this month, which is great. Both offer free on PlayStation Plus. Knack, if you don't know, is a platformer that came out around the time the PS4 was launched. I never played it, but I saw it. I was curious about it, so at least I'll get to try it now. And Rhyme seems kind of like another Journey-esque or Eco type adventure game. So that's interesting. Another game also that I've been curious about, but did not want to pay for. So I guess I paid for it anyway. Any opinions on these games?
Not yet.
No?
Knack's old. Like, that came out.
Knack is
was
old.
a launch title for that game, or for the PS4 when it came out. That and Ghosts, Call of Duty Ghosts, which was horrible.
I don't know. I think it's a good example of like we had. Who asked us before if PlayStation Plus was worth it?
Keith.
I think it's a great example of what we had kind of said though is you get an opportunity to play things you may not have even thought about, and I didn't really think about playing either of these. So this is a great time for me to try them anyways, and I might end up liking them.
No, I have to fucking play the shit.
It's
the rules.
Technicality, but
yeah,
it is. I get to try them. So,
Chris, you excited?
Oh, ooh.
Knack.
Yeah, downplay it. They might be fun. You don't know. Rhyme might be cool.
It's true.
Yeah. So we played two games, like I said, this month, which was Deus Ex Mankind Divided and Telltale's Batman. I figure we should probably talk about Batman first. If you didn't play Batman, Telltale's Batman is another Telltale game. It's a choose-your-own-adventure, narrative-driven, story-based game where you make decisions and essentially watch a movie. Telltale's done a lot of games, most known for The Walking Dead and Sam & Max, I guess. That was the original stuff. So you guys probably already know about it. Hopefully you had a chance to play it. And we all played it. So who wants to start saying stuff out of their mouth?
So with Batman, as expected, when you play the game, it feels like a Telltale game. It's all there. It has a lot more QuickTime cutscenes than I was really kind of expecting, but it makes sense because
feels like going for more of an actiony feel.
Yeah. I think it's a very clean-looking game, which I'm really happy about, because the last two games I played seemed kind of grainy almost, and this one actually looks really good, so I'll give them props on that one. I also think they picked really good voice actors.
Troy Baker.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
You guys played Joker and Batman.
I was saying the whole time, I was like, man, these guys sound great.
Yeah.
Even on all the side casts as well, I think they did a good job on that. I like their visual representations of the characters, and even like the mansion and the Batcave and all that stuff. And the computer, I thought was a nice touch as well. Having the different screens that you can interact with kind of made you feel like you're investigating, which obviously is part of his thing. A lot of neat ideas there, I thought. If I had any kind of nitpicks about it, the QuickTime stuff went on for long periods of time and got a little fatiguing.
It does, and I also noticed that there was a couple instances where I'd already played the first episode when it first came out. I bought it, and then it came out. I played it again, so I started over. And parts where I did do the QuickTime parts, correctly. The second time, I just didn't do them, and the same outcome happened, which is kind of interesting. So,
okay. So yeah, that's probably my biggest gripe. I'm not huge on QuickTime stuff, anyways. I think they can be good in very small amounts, and I think they were just a little long. It would be my only major gripe. So, but other than that, I pretty much got what I was expecting to get out of it.
And for the record, you played the first episode. That's it?
To completion, yeah.
Okay. Cody.
Yeah, same. I only played the first one, but I like Batman and I like Telltale, and it was good. And you touched base on the detective part, which was, is not really, Batman's done for now for like the actiony stuff. So it's always nice to go back to that. It was. I like I said, I only played the first episode, so I want to play more. But yeah, all the voice acting was awesome. Yeah, Troy Baker. So.
It's really interesting too because the investigation stuff a lot of people complained about when the game first came out, but it seems like every time a Telltale game ever comes out, the first episode comes out, people play it and they're always like, we'll see where it goes, and then by the time that it's over, everybody loves it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Batman. I remember when it first came out, people were like, this is just Bruce Wayne the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And not Batman. I'm like, well, it's pretty important to Batman's character. That's why people like Batman so much, is there's a lot to him. He's not just, I'm going to kill everything. Well, he doesn't kill shit. But, you know what I'm saying? So it's really interesting to see how that always pans out with Telltale games. I played the first 2 episodes, so actually went a little further. And I have to say that pretty much everything you said I agree with. I think it looks good, it plays good, the voice acting's good, the storytelling's good, all stuff I expect from Telltale. It's on their newer engines, so the game looks cleaner. The QuickTime events are a little annoying, but at the same time, welcome, because it changes up the pace of the game. You're not just sitting there watching the whole thing the whole time. I have to say, though, the first episode was really boring for me. It made sense, it's fine, like, whatever, but both times that I've played it, maybe it's because I played it twice, I was like, okay, I get it on the second playthrough, but I just noticed there was a lot of, it's written well, just the subject matter is not as interesting to me as the second episode. The second episode, quick fucking spoiler alert, you find out that Bruce Wayne and the Joker are like friends in this storyline, and they hang out, and that whole episode's way more interesting. It's like Bruce Wayne, Joker, and Harley Quinn hanging out, and trying to get this EMP thing. He's like faking helping them though, because it's like a whole Batman thing. But it's an interesting take to see essentially the Joker and Batman being friends in the Bruce Wayne. He doesn't know he's Batman yet, but they're like buddies or whatever. It was an interesting take. So that was more of what I wanted from this. So it does get more interesting. But I only played the 2 episodes. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it about as much as most Telltale games. It's not a stellar one like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us. I actually really liked that one quite a bit. But it's cool. Chris.
Going into a Batman game, I always kind of have reservations about it. Because I always tell myself I'm not really interested in Batman, but then I get into it and I find myself really enjoying it. And that kind of happened with this. I only played episode 1, but I played it all the way through, and I downloaded all 5 of them because I want to play the rest of them. The art style, I enjoy it, but the whole time I'm looking at Bruce Wayne, I keep thinking that he's Archer, because they have a very similar art style.
Yeah.
And I find myself wanting to go back through the game and playing it as Archer, so just being like a total dick to everybody. But
I didn't think of that. It does definitely look like that, though.
It does, just because of the cell shading and whatnot. But I enjoyed this game so much, I felt like I was watching a movie. I just got so sucked into it. The QuickTime events, I think, were a nice change of pace for me. Compared to the last couple of Telltale games we got, which didn't have very many of them, or they were just kind of like, press X now, and that's the end of it. So it does feel like you're playing as Batman because of all the martial arts you're doing in it. And the storyline-wise, I just was intrigued by it. I mean, it's different from original Batman, but there's always different iterations of everything, so
yeah,
it's nice to see something that doesn't seem too far off.
Yeah. Any particular stories or anything that you guys found interesting, or should we move into recommendations?
No, I mean, I didn't have the same issue as like finding the first episode boring, but you did say you had played it twice, which I don't know if I would be able to myself.
They're kind of one and dones for me.
But I do think that because the dialogue was so good, and I think the story is interesting, at least the way it's starting, that they did a really good job with that. And like Chris had kind of mentioned, I also am not a huge Batman fan. I enjoy like certain properties of it from time to time, but I would not go out of my way to be like, oh, I'm a Batman, fan.
Finally, I get to play as the Bat.
Yeah, it's enjoyable sometimes. So,
I am him.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna shitpost on Twitter under his name.
Probably one of my favorite aspects, I think, was dealing with
short bust down.
The scandal aspect, and talking to Harvey Dent about it. And it's funny as the player because you know who Harvey Dent is, or becomes, I should say. and then interacting with all these people that become villains like Penguin and stuff like that, and it's just really neat to see that beginning where they're not.
That's
them
the
yet.
thing that's weird about Bruce Wayne hanging out at the bar with the Joker, because he looks just like the Joker without like all the shit. He's still really pale, but his face is like. He's like, hey, Bat. Like, they just call him that. But, like, he's talking to him like that. Like, hey, Bruce. And they're just, like, hanging out and shit. And, like, the whole time, Batman's dealing with this drunk dude and, like, trying to pay him a couple $100 to get him to chill out. He pulls a knife on you. He pull the fucking his hand back and do some crazy martial arts shit. And fucking Joker's just watching the whole time like, this is great. And I'm like, you hang out with this guy?
Yeah.
This guy is fucking one of those guys you don't go downtown with.
It does suck that you have to do that whole thing over again. It feels like every Batman game or like every TV show or every movie that comes out, it's like you have to get another origin story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we know that this person turns into this guy. It's like, why do we have to see it again?
But
like,
they did skip the
it.
initial origin story, though. It does have the early up-and-coming aspects of it.
They
but
talk about it, yeah.
They do bring up the parent thing that we don't want to watch over and over again, which I think they did it tastefully. But I agree, it would be kind of nice to just have a game come out that's just established in the middle of the storyline or whatever, and you're already in the shit, and so we can just finally experience those storylines.
Well, and obviously, like, coming from knowing all that, I get that as well, but you also got to take into consideration people, this might be their first Batman experience.
Sure, and I agree with that 100%, but how many times do we have to always cater to those people, and we don't get a chance to actually tell the stories that we're never going to get to play?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm just saying, I get it. And it is frustrating, because I don't want to see it a million times either.
Yeah, it's not frustrating. It just kind of sucks we don't get a chance to dive into Spider-Man further in, or Batman.
It almost be better if they had like an option to watch like a video instead. Sure. Like, hey, do you not know about Batman? Here, watch this real quick, type of thing. Then everyone else can just hop into the game.
Well, they have those sections where you can look at like character profiles and look at each person and read the background. Just do that. But I mean, like, if you're playing a Batman game in like 2018 and you don't know shit about Batman at all, and you're hoping that this Telltale game is going to enlighten you on Batman, I figure, I don't know, you need to...
Who the fuck is the calendar man? Like, you're about to find out.
Mr. Monday?
Was that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
That shit. I don't get into those weird...
That's why he's asking. Recommendations.
Weird shit.
I'm just going to jump in because the one that's really fucking easy. If you like Telltale games, play this. It's a Telltale game. It plays just like it. It's not even one of the weaker ones. It's definitely a good one. So it's definitely right up your alley. If you like stories, movies, you're not even into video games, it's still worth checking out. Like I said, the quick time events, you don't even have to be very good at them. They're just there to kind of make you feel like you're involved in the fight. And yeah, I mean, if you need something that's going to be more stimulating, you need more input and shooting stuff, you can't really sit there and listen to narratives or whatever play out or people talk, it's not for you.
Play the Arkham games.
Play the Arkham games. Yeah, you're covered. There's games for you already. But yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry on who this game's for. I think really anybody can play these games, though, as long as you have a pretty decent attention span. The episodes are about 2 hours long a piece, so yeah, it's not that long.
So yeah, Telltale game fans, adventure game fans, Batman fans.
Oh yeah, Batman. If you like Batman, play it.
You want to get nuts?
Or just superhero stuff in general. Other than that,
like Prince.
If you want something quick to play, I guess is a good one, because like you said, they're each episode's pretty bite-sized. You can get it an episode done in a day pretty easily.
Although I swear, and I'm not trying to be negative, but playing that fucking first episode a second time, I feel like I was doing that for 4 days. I feel like in the course of one day, I experienced
Batman
a week.
time, dude.
Yeah, that's how Batman sees the world. It's all in fast forward. I was like, I am the Bat. That scene where you're out in the park with your homeboy, who's like a homeless guy beating people's ass out there. Like,
Oswald.
This is going on for 6 years, man. Let's fucking hurry it up. Say hi to your boy and get the fuck out. Any other recommendations?
I think anybody should be able to play this game. I think everybody should.
Yeah. That makes sense. Cody, anything you want to add to that? Nah. Sound like the Bat. Grades. Let's go with Chevy first.
Gonna go B-. I think it's a good Telltale game, one of the better ones. Even if I'm not particularly interested in the subject matter at all times, I still found it enjoyable, with the exception of the couple hiccups that I felt in it. It's a solid game, and they obviously cared enough to get decent voice actors, like we had brought up already. They cared enough to make a decent story for it, and graphically, it's just cleaner than a lot of the Telltale games have been in a while. So I really appreciate that. So yeah, B-.
It's a good one. I'm also going to go with a weaker B-. I was thinking about C+, but I feel like that'd almost be insulting to a game that's fine. It looks great, plays great, does what it needs to do. I just, my problems are with my interest in the game itself. It's not necessarily... I mean, it gets better, but I did find myself getting bored. So, the direction they took it in, if people are into it, they are into it, but I wasn't necessarily into it. So, B-. It's passing. Good grade, but not stellar, in my opinion. Chris?
I'm going to give it a B+. Well, I enjoyed the game a lot. There are a few technical issues still present in the game. Specifically, once you finish the first chapter, the game will lock in place.
Yeah.
Yep, where it shows you what the choices are. Other than that, a few minor technical issues of lips lining up with voices and animations seeming a bit flat. I think the game overall is really well done.
Yeah, the animations, that's a Telltale thing in general, but that's something that always, I have to... aside from just the stellar storytelling in The Walking Dead that completely supersedes any technical aspects of the game, I don't think I can really give a Telltale game anything beyond a B area just because of that one thing. But that's a nitpick of mine. So, but like I said, if they just write a really good story, though, I could easily give something higher, but it's got to be really good. Makes sense. Good grade. Cody, let's go to Chris.
I'll give it a B. Basically, everything you guys said. B is Batman. Well,
sorry,
I'm just thinking of a tick now. But just because it's the source material, you know what I mean? It's like one of those games that's like you don't have to like Batman, but it's like it obviously is catering to the superhero. I hope they make more, because that'd be really cool.
I think they're doing a season 2 right now.
That'd be awesome. I mean, for other, because I know Marvel did the Guardians of the Galaxy, or they're doing it.
Doing.
I want to see more like that. You know what I mean? And for DC, I mean, I would love to just throwing out Green Lantern or something.
I think it fits comic books really well, actually.
Yeah, it really does. I mean,
because it has that episodic nature to it. Yeah,
I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just for a certain crowd. I guess Walking Dead is too, but it's super popular. Same with Tales from Borderlands, stuff like that. But it's a good game. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, what did you think of Batman, Telltale's Batman? Did you play it? Did you not play it? Are you interested in playing it? Are you not at all? You're one of the only people on the planet that doesn't like Batman. Let us know why. I'm very curious. Could you also give it a B for Batman? Because I think that's probably the fairest grade you could ever give Batman is B, because it's his favorite letter. Let us know. Second game we played this month was Deus Ex Mankind Divided, the sequel to the other one. And Human Revolution. And in case you didn't play it, it is a cyberpunk game that is an action RPG with stealth elements and first-person shooting, leveling up, all that kind of stuff. It's not an open-world game, but it is open in the sense of districts have multiple things you can do in them. And he plays a dude named Adam Jensen who wears sunglasses at night. And what do we think of this? And for the record, transparency, I've said this before, this is my game of the year for 2016, so I like it.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, Cody, let's start with you.
I really like it. Actually, I played a little bit of the first one, but
just to clarify.
Yeah. Well, the second one, I guess, because what was the first one? Human
Revolution was the first one.
Unless we're talking about the original Deus Ex.
Wow, yeah.
Well, yeah. So, but no, this one's good. These type of games kind of drive me nuts because anytime there's any form of stealth or no kill, play runs, I have to do that. I don't know why. At least the first one, I have to do it that way. It just drives me crazy. I can't. So I'll replay a level if I mess up every single time. But this game, it's really fun. Like you said, there's just multiple different ways you can go about the level. Run and gun, stealth, anything like that. Yeah, there's just a lot to it, and it's just this whole cyberpunk thing. So it's awesome.
Which instantly just gives it a boost for me.
Yeah.
If you have a cool visual style of cyberpunk, I'm already like, ooh, what's this?
You
gotta make the game okay, and I'll be fine.
Storyline and like acting is kind of like cheesy, but I think that's kind of like part of its charm a little bit because it's not really
it's a little
going
stiff.
for yeah, it's stiff. But yeah, good. Adam Jensen's kind of, I don't know, I didn't beat it, so I didn't really get through the whole thing. But he seems kind of, he progresses as a character, but for the most part, at first he's kind of stiff and robot-like, I guess, because he is, So,
goddamn Darth Vader. Chevy.
I love the visual style. I also a huge fan of Cyberpunk. Another game where I think the voice acting is good for the most part. There's a couple weird characters.
God, at least it doesn't have what's his nuts from the first game.
Right.
I forgot his name. He always calls you up fucking while you're in vents. He's like, "Hello, Adam." Like, what are you doing? And he's like, "I don't have time for this."
The tech dude
Pritchard.
The game is super clean looking, but I almost feel like this and the first game are almost a little too clean looking.
They almost look artificial.
Yeah. Like when you're holding your gun, I feel like I'm holding a toy almost.
Yeah.
It's a very weird graphical choice, but I mean, it is a good looking game. I mean, other than that, it's got a lot of RPG elements, which I appreciate. You have your skill trees essentially that you can put your points into to fit your playstyle. They also added in this one I guess they're hidden away ones that are unlocked, but they overdraw your power, so you have to shut other ones off. It's kind of a neat idea. You have to essentially pick and choose, which I like that.
You have to make a build.
Yeah. Versus just being able to be the guy who does everything.
Yeah, you have to beat the game or get towards the end of the game before you get something that allows you to access your full potential, essentially.
And I figured that would come. Yeah. With all the positive things I have to say about it, I did not have fun playing the game. So I think there's something about both the first game and this game where I'm playing it, I'm completely interested in everything about it, but as I play it, I just get bored super fast with them. And I can't put my finger on it, to be honest. So this is a tough one for me.
Yeah. I'll go next. So like I said, game of the year for me when I played it. I really enjoyed it. I liked the first game. The big reason why I put this one up high on how much I like it is because I played the first game and I felt like there was such potential there that they could have nailed, but there's a lot of weaknesses to that game. And they addressed almost every single one of the criticisms they got for that game in the second game. So they did completely upgrade the game into something that is what people wanted. So I was really happy with that. They added more skills, which is cool. They added more ways to fight bosses. Originally, you just had to kind of go in there and shoot a person until they're dead. And this, you can stealth through, you can hack through, you can shoot through, which is great. I mean, I literally beat the game. I won't tell you about the end of the game, but I beat the game my first playthrough by hacking a turret, holding it over my head, over the railing, and it auto was shooting the boss as he was coming at me. And for the most part, I was sneaking through this map. This map's got like laser mines everywhere and all this shit, and you're supposed to fight him. I crawled into a fucking vent, and he's looking for me and shit. And I started hacking all the turrets, and then I was like, wait, can I just pick it up? And I grabbed it, and I lifted it into the air, and it locked onto him, and I fucking put it over the railing, and started going, and he started coming up the stairs running at me, and I was just fucking unloading at him, holding the turret, and he fucking dropped dead. I was like, I dropped the turret, I was like, holy shit. I was like, guys, beat the game by that? That's fucking crazy. So it's ridiculous, but you can do it. It's awesome that I have that story. Someone else can beat the game completely different, and that's something you don't see in a whole lot of games. The storyline is a lot more coherent and better in the second game. Adam Jensen, big complaint in the first game is he was a robot. I mean, there was nothing to him. He talked like Christian Bale, and like he looked cool. But when people talked to him, he was kind of like Solid Snake in the sense that he just didn't know what was going on. He just repeat the shit you're saying, like, "Oh, you got to go do this." He's like, "I gotta do that," and fucking that would be it. And except for he's not Solid Snake, because Solid Snake's fucking the best. But in the second game, they gave him character. They give him growth as a character. They write him as a dude who has cool things to say and comebacks, so you don't feel like a complete bitch, which I think is important if you're going to be playing this badass dude. Why have everyone step on you? There's people who flip him shit, and he flips some shit right back, and it's enjoyable. And the game builds to a point towards the end that is really fucking cool. And until it hits like the credits with the really cool outro music, really great way to just finish the game off. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't play it, or I did play it. I didn't beat it the second time through. I'm just remembering the old times. But yeah, they just improved everything about it. Now, a couple things you said, I do agree with. I do think the game's art style is very interesting. Everything is very smooth and shiny, but not in a textured way.
Yeah.
It's almost like when they were making the game, they just didn't add textures to the game. They just made everything metallic and shiny looking, and everything, even skin, looks like that. So it almost looks like everything's made of plastic in the game. Something I look over, though, because if you look past that aspect, the game is really cool looking. My biggest complaint about both Deus Ex games, though, is they are very stiff playing games. They're RPGs, though, so they emphasize that. This is not a first-person shooter. We're going to be running through fucking Call of Duty style and loading shit, or unloading on people, but I think they could still find a way to make the game feel better in the way you play it. Because it feels like when you're walking, you're just kind of like on a square basis, like ducking into like 2 boxes to 1 box size, and then you're moving, and when you're shooting, it's just like, it just feels weird. But because I liked being immersed in that world, I looked past that. But yeah, other than technical things to the game, I think it's a great game. Chris?
I kind of have a mix of like what Cody and Chevy were saying. I played the game as stealth because I have to every time I play games. I give that option, just because I like the aspect of not killing people. At the same time, though, I couldn't find myself getting too immersed in the game because it all felt so plastic and different. Like, I can get immersed in all kinds of fantasy type games, but this one, it was just so disconnected for me. It was really hard for me to get drawn into the story and can really force myself to keep playing. But I do like the aspect that you can beat missions and levels however you want to, whatever way you could think of. It's viable. So that's a bonus for me because I like that creativity and that freedom to explore. It does remind me a lot of kind of like a Metal Gear Solid game. And the fact that it's kind of like stealth, but you can also go in guns a-blazing if you're good enough with that.
Yeah, a big thing for Deus Ex for me, it's funny, okay, so I played the first game, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I thought there was potential there, and I was hoping they'd fix it. The second game came out, and I was like, do I really want to play it? Because the first one was cool, but they kind of missed the mark on it. I'm glad I did. I bought it just as a gamble to see if I liked it. I ended up liking it quite a bit. But I still left the game going, okay, this is as a franchise is still working the kinks out. They worked a lot of them out, but there's still some major things I really hope they address in the next game. So for me, as a fan of the series, I'm just hopeful that this game will finally get to a point where I'm going to love it, like 100%. And I still have some work to do, but they made a huge step in the last 2 games. So
it was really cheap too. Like I remember, like it was. I don't think it was out for very long. Before I bought
like
it for
a month or 2
$20.
later, it dropped down like $30.
Yeah, so I bought it for like $25,
They didn't
$30.
advertise it very heavy, though.
Yeah.
That was another thing
Yeah.
that was bad about it too. Yeah.
So I mean that was just Square essentially not wanting to put money into advertising for the game, which sucks because that obviously put it at a bit of a disadvantage.
For sure.
So
recommendations. I'll jump in first. If you like action adventure games, if you like games like Morrowind or Skyrim, where you can go around, talk to random people, do side quests, do main quests, stuff like that. Shooters, if you like shooters, it's pretty good, but you're not going to get the same experience of like Wolfenstein or Call of Duty. You're not going to be running through this fast pace. But if you get good enough at the way the game plays, if you like more like Tom Clancy like cover shooters, I think you're in a better area with the game. If you like Cyberpunk, I think it's a must play because it's one of the only Cyberpunk games out there. I know there's a lot of them, but there's not a lot in comparison to other types of games. And this game is a shining example of what Cyberpunk can look like. At pretty decent graphics, and yeah, if you like good stories, but I mean, like there are some hiccups in the game, so you need to go into it knowing that. I can admit that as a fan of the game. So, anybody else?
I mean, pretty much the same thing. I mean, you have a AAA Cyberpunk game, which, like you said, is a rarity. There's lots of indie ones, not a lot of AAA ones, with the exception of obviously CG Project Red coming out with one.
Whenever the hell that comes out.
Yeah, never. But I mean, if you're into Western RPGs, if you're into more tactical-based shooters.
You mean to tell me this isn't like Final Fantasy VII to you?
It is not like Final Fantasy
Persona 5?
If you like, games where you get to customize your character to your playstyle and tailor that, I mean, you're going to get that in this game. Lots of gadgets and stuff as well, so almost like James Bond-esque in that way. I would even say Metal Gear Solid, if you're into those games, you might find something you like here. Has similar aspects to it. It's definitely not as good as Metal Gear Solid. I will put that out there. But.
Definitely not. Also, if you're a art nerd or a history nerd, and you like the Renaissance, this whole game is artistically based off the Renaissance. So a lot of blacks and golds. Pretty cool looking. I love the way it looks. Anybody else?
I think you guys nailed it.
Yeah, you got
I'd recommend you don't play this shit. That's my recommendation.
Just telling people to jog on or what?
I'm telling them to fucking Josh on Twitter. Yeah, so let's grade it. Who went first last time? You did? I think you did.
I think I did, yeah.
Chris, grade it, please.
I'm going to give it actually a solid A, although I did not get too immersed into it. It is a well-made game that is very polished.
Wow, that was a fucking crazy high grade for.
That was also very objective, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You didn't have an A experience, I feel.
But it does give people the variety I think that everybody's looking for in these type of games. It's so, I know it's stellar, even though I didn't personally enjoy it too deeply.
Yeah, I wish you guys could have got further into the game to at least experience the story. Because one thing I really dug that I probably should have mentioned is his connection with characters and how that ends or gets towards the end with certain characters and stuff like that. Has a really good development feeling to how certain things happen. I have to be vague, but yeah. That's a really interesting one. A lot of times Chevy's really I was about to say bad about it, but good about it. You'll still rate things based off of the merits of the game and not necessarily your.
I'm going to with this one.
Yeah. So let's go with you then.
I want to give it a B+. I do think it is a quality made game. All of my gripes about it are personal gripes. They're not anything I can say against the game, except for maybe I do agree. Obviously, we both agreed with graphical choice is weird, and the stiff movement is weird.
It's fucking weird because the game looks good, but it doesn't look established.
It doesn't look real.
I don't look at it and feel like I'm in that world. I'm just like, this is just a really clean J.J. Abrams cyberpunk thing.
Yeah. So,
it looks glossy.
I do want to add to that my personal rating for the game would probably be like a C-. I don't find the game fun to play, but yeah, I do think it deserves at least a B+. It is a well-made game, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with a very, very solid, strong A-. I think it is a really good game. I liked it a lot. I think it had a really good impact on me when I beat the game. I was thinking about it long after I'd beaten the game. The only reason I'm giving it A- is, which is a great grade, but I wish it was to the point I want it to be. This is a franchise that I believe in. Obviously, I bought the second one even after the first one. I was like, those boss battles are really bad. The cutscenes were really fucking bad, but the concept is cool. The game looks good, and I like a lot of the stuff with it. But the second one did better. but did not nail it, and it sucks because people like you guys weren't able to get further into the game and enjoy it the same way I could, which obviously is subjective, but I would have loved the game to just fucking nail it and be accessible to more people. So that's what I'm giving it A-. It has work to do. They still have work to do with the series. I hope they continue the way they are, though, and just make it better. So, yeah, A-.
I'm going to go with B+. I mean, you guys basically said everything I was going to say, but I think it's just a really good game to be on PlayStation Plus.
And that's a really good factor,
huge.
too.
You know
That's
what I
something
mean?
I try to
Like,
think about.
It pops, you know what I mean? It's like you see that and you're like, oh shit,
That's
like
a full-on
alright,
game.
yeah, it's just worth it. You know what I mean? It kind of just makes the month.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it makes more than 1 month if you
Well,
want
yeah.
to really be real about
Yeah,
it. You're
exactly.
paying $60 for a year of PlayStation Plus, and
Yeah.
you got a AAA game.
Yeah.
Like that, you can't complain at that point
Well,
for the
and-
rest of the year, in my opinion. So
And since this show is all about PlayStation Plus, January was a pretty strong month
For sure.
to start out with. We got 2 really good games. A lot of worth there. People are asking, like, is it worth getting PlayStation Plus? Sometimes with months like this, yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're getting more than you paid for. Other months, you might not be particularly into it, but you just got to wait for the next one. It's crapshoot, but
I think I broke that down to math form too, which is pretty funny. But
yeah. And February seems like it's going to be a pretty strong month with Knack and Rhyme, but
hopefully.
yeah. Anything else anybody wants to say on Deus Ex or the other game, Batman?
No, I think you said it was a strong month. Even though they're not games that I will probably finish, I do think they're both quality games and both deserve to be played. So I'm glad everyone got at least the opportunity to play them. So.
Yeah. Let's know in the comments. What did you think of Deus Ex Mankind Divided? Did you play it? Did you not play it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Tell me what you think about Cyberpunk. Well, are you stoked for CD Projekt Red's game that will come out actually in 2077? Or when is that game supposed to come out? Or,
I think you nailed it.
okay. It'll actually be the future when we get that. Let's know. That's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club on Tasty Loot Gaming. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out the streams on the channel if you missed them. They're uploaded. Check me out on Twitch at Sleep Division, all one word. Check out Chris on Twitch, Tasty_Fruit. And do you have anything you want to plug?
No.
Nah.
The Josh.
You can find the Josh on Twitter. Don't talk.
__ Josh.
Don't talk shit. And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Cody.
Yeah, I'm Chris.
Until the next episode, which will be next Tuesday for Taste Tuesday, doing it all over again. Have a good weekend, guys, and take it easy.